So, welcome to this Instagram Masterclass. I am so happy to share what I've learned and help you on your journey. So, are you guys ready to dive in this training? If you are, make sure that you've grabbed a drink, a notepad and pen, and find a comfy, quiet spot so that you can concentrate on the training and take some notes. I joined Instagram in 2016 with a simple aim to build an interested audience to hopefully sell my work to one day. My following grew from 12 followers to over 10,000 in 12 months. And despite the algorithm coming into play and me not avidly trying to grow anymore, my account has continued to grow to nearly 30,000 followers. Now, I believe in carving out a life, doing work that fulfills me, and I am just as impassioned about helping others to do the same. I just don't want you to have to take as long as I did to learn all the things to have success on Instagram. So you might be thinking, am I in the right place? What is this person going to be telling me today? So before we dive in, I just want to start by checking that you are in the right place. And if any of you are feeling any of these things, like I am close to throwing in the towel and just giving up on Instagram altogether, or perhaps you might be feeling like you have no clue what the algorithm is or why hardly anyone is seeing my posts. Or maybe you feel like I have no idea what to post on Instagram that will actually create more customers. And perhaps some of you are feeling I do not want to be spending time on an app and on my phone if it's not getting me results for my business. And I'm sure a whole bunch of you feel like maybe I should just abandon Instagram and focus on building my email list instead. Did you guys resonate with any of these? If so, relax, you are in the right place. I have felt like every single one of those statements at one point or other in my Instagram journey. And in today's training, I am going to be teaching you some strategies that have worked for me, algorithm or no algorithm. And just to say, for those of you who do feel like maybe I should just abandon Instagram and focus on building my email list instead, well done, because it's great if you are already aware of how important it is to realize that Instagram own your followers, not you, and you do need an email list of your own. However, you don't want to abandon all your hard work on Instagram so far because Instagram is your number one marketing tool. So what you want to do is use Instagram to collect your ideal customers, as in your Instagram followers, and then get them off the app and convert them into newsletter subscribers, therefore creating a pool of interested people whose details you own to nurture and sell to. So you might be asking yourself, so why do we need Instagram? Well, we need Instagram to show potential ideal customers who you are and how you can serve them. It's a bit like a virtual CV with billions of people cruising around that you can let know you exist. Now, let's face it, nobody is cruising around looking for new websites to peruse and check out. The majority of people are on the gram every day, and this is a potential pool of ideal customers available to you if you simply know how to attract them and make Instagram a key part of your marketing strategy. What's more, the content that you're creating for Instagram, you can then repurpose for your newsletter mailing list. And a lot of people are getting into the habit now of creating an end of week social media roundup, for example. There's all sorts you can do there. But just to be super clear, yes, I completely agree with all the voices out there shouting about you need email newsletters lists. But oh my goodness, Instagram is a key part of that. So, a little bit more about what I do. I'm Kia. I'm coming to you from a leafy village in Farnham, which is about an hour south of London in the UK. And 5 years ago, I decided to use my dormant Instagram account to share my artwork. Like I said, I had 12 followers at the time and just a simple intention to share my artwork. Literally, I just didn't want to figure out how to do a website yet. And in fact, when you scroll all the way to the bottom of my feed, which I've done for you because it takes a long time, this is what it looked like. It took me a good year to figure out how to create a cohesive and engaging feed, and probably another year to actually get good and consistent at it. And so when I joined Instagram, an interesting thing happened. Whilst I was posting my artwork, I started to notice what was possible for me. I started to notice other artists and makers and creatives out there who were managing to sell directly to their Instagram audience and make a comfortable, full-time, secure living doing this. And so that piqued my interest, and I started researching how to do well on Instagram. And then I implemented what I learned, and then my audience rapidly grew to 10,000 followers in just 12 months. In fact, I had so many people notice the rapid growth that I started finding that my DMs were filling up with people asking me to share my knowledge and experience. So I ended up putting it all into an ebook, which became a fast best-selling ebook, and getting amazing feedback about what I was teaching people. I mean, the feedback just didn't stop. I was just absolutely flooded with 5-star reviews. And I really hope to be able to help you with that, because making money while I sleep has been one of the most satisfying and freeing things I have ever discovered. Anyway, I realized that more people need to know this ebook exists. I'm getting all these 5-star reviews. People are loving it. So therefore, I need to let more people know so I can help more people. And so I started to do things that would send people to my Instagram account. And the kind of work that I did resulted in me sometimes selling £10,000 worth of ebooks in just a couple of days. And these are the kind of results I want for your business. So just to carry on who I am and what I've done, I've been featured in Average Arts Magazine, Makers Movement. I even took part in Sky Arts Landscape Artist of the Year as a wildcard on television back in 2016. I have a podcast called Happy Hacks, which rose to number 3 in the UK iTunes charts for health and wellness. And I've created Instagram content for big brands such as Moo. In fact, the Instagram content I created for them to help market their 100% cotton business cards was their highest performing content to date, and it is still often chosen for their ad campaigns, like you can see in this picture now. In fact, a friend just sent me one the other day that the same picture, they just continue to use it because I know what works and it's performing for them as well. So I've coached all kinds of creative entrepreneurs on a one-to-one basis to crack Instagram, from artists, speakers, videographers, makeup artists to photographers, all sorts. And I've built my business whilst having an undiagnosed autoimmune disease, battling chronic pain. I actually couldn't walk for 9 months, 2.5 years ago now, with 2 young boys and a husband who commutes and is away every day in London. And I tell you all that because with the right knowledge, I have discovered you can build a career you love, and Instagram is the number 1 tool I have used to do that. And I want the same for you. Because I used to be in your shoes 4 years ago. Like I said, just had 12 followers on Instagram and no idea how Instagram worked. I had 2 small children and just a dining table to paint from whilst they were napping or at preschool. So I get many of the frustrations that you are feeling because I've been there. And what excites me the most about teaching you is that I'm not a typical sort of Instagram marketing expert, because primarily I'm an artist who accidentally has become an Instagram expert. So I see things from the perspective of a creative maker who just wants to do what they love all day and make a living from it so that you can do what you love all day. I relate deeply to a lot of your situations, and I am just someone who wants to tell everybody who is struggling how to do it, because I believe we should all be doing what we love every day and we should be able to monetize that. So what's my goal for you today? Well, my goal for you is that you leave this training understanding how to sell more, how to grow your following faster, and I want to teach you the number 1 strategy to achieve this. Now, there are 4 key issues that I see that will prevent you from doing this on your own. And they are: 1, you have no clue what the algorithm is or how it works. 2, you don't know how to retain the current followers that you've made. Your numbers keep going down as much as up. And 3, you have no idea what to post on Instagram that will actually create more customers. And 4, you have no time to master Instagram, even though you see other people do it, so you know it must be possible. All of this is possible, and we will be diving into teaching you: 1, the 5 critical things you should do before you put up a sales post. Super important. 2, my exact strategy for selling. It's what I call the cycle to sell. Number 3, why I believe you should try to grow your followers in the first place, because there's a lot of noise around that. So I think we should address it very quickly. 4, the exact method I use to grow my audience. And 5, I will teach you the number 1 strategy to achieve more sales and growth on Instagram. So let's jump in. Technique number 1, how to sell more. Now, obviously, I don't have time to show you the full scope around selling because there's all sorts you need to know. You need to go super deep, but I can show you the 5 critical things you should do before you put up a sales post, which will increase your sales. And you can start this tonight. So, number 1, the first thing you need to do before you post a picture or a video or anything is sit down and work out who your ideal customer is. 2, you then need to find out where they are. A trap a lot of people fall into is they create content and then wait for people to come to them and like it and see it and want to engage with it. I don't know if this sounds familiar to anybody. I've certainly fallen into this trap myself in the past. And this is understandable because it's the way Instagram used to be. But since the many algorithm updates have occurred, you can't just sit and wait for people to come to you anymore. So my second step is I always will reach out and research where the people I need to connect with are hanging out online. Third thing you need to do, go connect with them. Like I said, you need to help them find you by hanging out where they are and then connect with them. This is about showing up, being seen, and being social. Then you're ready for number 4. And the 4th step is spend time figuring out how you can give them value. I.e., you want to give them a reason to follow you. This is so important. We'll be coming back to this in a bit. And 5, give them something of value for free regularly. The Instagram accounts that grow the fastest and make the most sales are the ones with a clear, singular form of value that they keep giving, which ties to a product or service they want to sell, and is obviously also meeting their ideal customers' pains or desires or challenges. So you've got to do all those things first. Don't even think about trying to sell something until you have done all those 5 things. And then, like I've said, only after doing this do I think about mentioning what I sell. And then after that, I use the cycle to sell method. So to sum up, you're pinpointing who your ideal customer is and where you can find them online. You go and you be social and connect with them. You give them something of value for free regularly, and you make it easy to get what you are giving to them. So make it super easy for them to get access to whatever this thing is of value. You show up consistently and you keep your value focused on one thing. My best advice to you on this is do one thing well when you start out. Give people a reason to follow you and come back to you and tell their friends about you. And what you give for free, if that can be connected to what you really want to sell, then you're cooking on gas. Okay, so I've mentioned the cycle to sell here. Shall we dive in? Right, I call it a bit of a magic formula. I mean, obviously, I use magic lightly because this is work. You've got to do the hard work. You've got to be authentic. You've got to do all the good stuff. But I have to use that word because once you actually nail this, it just becomes so easy because it's just a cycle. You just keep doing the same things over and over. So let me show you what that looks like. So can you see the start here? A little grey rectangle. So underneath that is where we're going to begin. So you begin with sharing with your audience content that tells them this is what I believe. And then you share this is what I do. Then you give them their value for free. You share some of your backstory. And then you're going to create opportunities for people to trust you, for people to love what you do, and an opportunity for people to know you. Then, after providing that value and that content about your brand, you share, oh, here's what I'm selling type content. And then can you see the arrow on the right-hand side? All the while that you are doing this cycle to sell, you are also in tandem growing your audience and letting more people know you exist via growth hacks. Does that answer a few things for you. This way you don't need to feel salesy. You don't need to not know what you've got to post. You just create a cycle to sell. So that's your first technique. Create transformational content for your ideal customer and be seen before trying to sell something. Oh, I wish I could just dive in so much deeper on all of that content to really help you fully understand it. But we haven't got much time, so we're going to move on to technique number 2, which is all about how to grow your audience faster. Now, like I promised, I first of all want to talk to you about why should you try to get more followers anyway? Because there is plenty of noise on Instagram by marketers that discourage you from wanting to grow your followers. I'm sure it's familiar. You've probably heard people drowning out that with the message that you should only focus on nurturing the audience you have and never worry about your follower number. So whilst I agree that you shouldn't be focusing on your follower number alone, and that it's true that you would be better to have 300 interested followers who actively engage with your content rather than, say, 300,000 who don't care about your content at all, I don't believe it's that simple. As an artist, as well as an accidental Insta-marketeer, I see things from the viewpoint of both creative business owner and Instagram marketer. And what I can tell you from my experience is that it is totally possible to cater to your existing audience with quality content whilst also doing things with that content that will get you more engaged followers. And as a creative maker, I want more customers. I'm not ashamed to say that. And I know you have a great product or service, and I don't expect you to settle to only serve your existing customers and just make do with that, because you should obviously continue to serve your customers, but you can also be drawing in new customers at the same time using the same Instagram content. So with that said, I believe there is good reason to focus on growing your account, obviously in a considered, ethical way. So how can growing your followers help your business? Here are just a few ways that putting effort into growing my following has enormously helped my business. So growing my followers has helped my business by giving me a wider, engaged audience to sell to. I sell all sorts of different things, from paintings to ebooks, one-to-one coaching, in-person private painting lessons, and having a wider, engaged audience has helped me grow my sales in those areas, which is fantastic because I love doing all of those things. They all involve either bringing beauty into people's lives with paintings or helping people, which I absolutely adore doing. So it's a win-win. I've also been asked to create content for brands I love. I've been offered sponsorships and partnerships with brands that I use and that my audience and I both love. And I've been featured on big accounts where I get huge exposure and then an enormous boost of engaged, interested, relevant, new people who didn't previously know I existed. And I've been offered writing gigs in art publications and on blogs, which again gives me more exposure, and I'm super chuffed that I get asked. I've been offered interviews which help more people know, again, that my products and services exist, as well as speaking opportunities, and I've built my email list pretty easily. So in short, as my audience has grown, so have the opportunities that have come my way. And these opportunities have been super fun and have expanded the possibilities of the kind of work I can do. Therefore, the answer is, in my experience, to be clever and create content for your existing audience that also promotes growth. Because just making content that appeals to your existing audience is missing a key part. And I'm going to say it, but unfortunately, follower numbers have power. And I say unfortunately because I, like everyone really, hate vanity metrics. And your self-worth must never get caught up in a number on an app. Ever. But when it comes to business, I acknowledge that the numbers have power. They do. And they can unlock the kinds of opportunities that you might want for your business. And this is what will set you apart. accelerating your growth while still speaking to your existing audience. Right, let me show you how. So here we're going to talk about the magic ingredients for growth. Let's look at the exact method I have always used to grow my audience. So remember, before we start anything on Instagram, just like when we were talking about creating more sales, we have to have the person we want to serve in our mind. So we start with the ideal customer in mind. The next step is we ascertain the best content that we can make that will spark the most engagement. Because people make a decision as to whether to follow you in a split second. If you're lucky enough that they click onto your account in the first place, they will, in the blink of an eye, see your bio and your top few posts, and they all make a decision right there and then whether they're moved enough to scroll a bit longer or follow you. And in most cases, they won't do either. They will exit your account because nothing in 3 seconds has grabbed their attention. So you have to ascertain the best content to post that will spark the most engagement from your ideal customer. After that, you need to take a little time each week to do your analytics and therefore discover what is resonating with your audience and use that information to plan what content you are going to create more of next week. This is where you're growing with intention and with insight. You're not just trying to get any old followers. You're doing it in a clever, intentional way. The next thing you do is you create traffic. There is a whole host of ways you can do that, which we can't dive into now, unfortunately, but there's so many ways to do it. And you simply just need to let more people know you exist. And you're sending people to your content. At the same time, you're growth hacking. And I use that term to describe using the tools available to you on Instagram so when you create your engaging content for your existing audience, your content will also promote growth. And then lastly, it's about being social. It's a social platform and it's designed to reward you for being social. The algorithm rewards social behavior and it ranks you and indexes you higher in the algorithm and will show your content to more people for you doing that. So you need to be thinking about joining communities and drawing on the support and encouragement of other people whilst building relationships. And the incredible thing is that is so nourishing and enjoyable, and it also incidentally leads to more growth. So to sum up, you need to create content that you know your ideal customer will engage with, whilst creating traffic and growth hacking to let more ideal customers know you exist. You do your analytics to inform what content is resonating with your audience the most, so you can continue to do more of what works. So that's your second technique, guys. Take your transformational content for your ideal audience and at the same time, utilize the tools available to promote growth. Now, we have referred to a particular thing several times throughout this teach, which is the number one Instagram strategy to sell more and grow faster. Have you picked up on what it might be? It's value. If I teach you nothing else, this is the number one thing that transformed my little account to one where I was the same as everyone else, growing slowly, not really making many sales that often, to suddenly experiencing rapid growth and regular sales. It was when I realized I needed to give people value. Because just turning up to share what I have to sell and maybe some other nice background story content just wasn't enough. I needed to give something of value to make people want to commit to following my content. And that was a couple of years ago. Now, with all the more recent algorithm changes, that is even more prevalent. And this is why my strategy has never changed, because I tapped into this early and I have found that it is the number one thing that continues to allow me to grow. And this is why I'm so excited about sharing it with you guys, because the number of people that I coach and their eyes light up when they suddenly go, oh, That's the missing thing. Oh yes, all these accounts that I love, it's because of the value that they're giving me. All these accounts I can see are doing well, it's because of the value that they're giving people. And also, we have to face it that in the majority, we are suffering from online overwhelm. We've all got too many emails coming in, too many accounts to catch up on, adverts everywhere trying to grab our attention. And we all, in the majority, are feeling like we're spending too much time on our devices. So if you want someone to add your content to what they consume, you need to give them something of value. You can't just be selling them stuff and sharing personal parts of your life that are only interesting to your friends and family and expecting wild growth and regular sales. So, how do you figure out what value you can give? Start by pinpointing the pains or desires your ideal customer has that relate to the product or service you are looking to sell. Now, this is something I would suggest you spend focused time on, but we haven't got time to dive deep into all the ways that you need to do this. But I want you to get started. So here are 5 questions that will help you start to figure out where you can give value. And when I talk about giving value, I'm talking about focusing on delivering something. For example, inspiration, entertainment, a share, or a teach. And you do not have to be a master at this thing that you're going to be giving. You only really ever need to know one more thing than the person next to you to have something of value that they will want. Honestly, so many people stop at this point, and this is where they don't move forward, and they feel like, well, I'm doing this tip and this trick and it's not really working for me. It's because they don't have this foundation to their marketing strategy. And so you don't have to get caught up in trying to become a pro at something. Just let all those thoughts go. You will have them. You will have a small voice in your head that says you're not good enough and you need to be more professional, or you need to have more kudos or what have you. You need something before you can start giving us something of value. Ignore that voice. That is what stops most people from growing their business. Honestly, if you know one more thing than I do about something that I need help with, I will be willing to pay you money to teach me that one thing. Just keep that in mind, honestly, because I really don't want the little inner critic that we all have to hold you back. Okay, so the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what could I give that other people would value? So here you're looking at, what are my, key skills? Almost make a massive list of everything you are good at or everything you know. You may not want to monetize it, but it's really helpful to actually recognize all the value that you could potentially offer. 2, then I want you to look at answering this question. What is my ideal customer's core values? What matters to them? Because if you can meet your ideal customer where they're at and talk in their language about what matters to them, what you're saying will be relevant to them. Next up, number 3, then I want you to think through their pain points. What are they struggling with? What do they desire? What are their challenges? What's keeping them up at night? How can you help them? What are the issues? And then number 4, you start to map out, well, how can I solve these problems? Which problems can I solve? You won't be able to solve all of them, but where can you meet your ideal customer in the middle with what their challenges or desires are and how you can solve them? Once you get really clear on that, you're beginning to create the copy that you're going to use, the language you're going to use, the topics you're going to talk about, and you're going to start to be forming this value. And lastly, once you've worked through those steps, you're going to begin to brainstorm, what could I give away for free that my ideal client wants? And if you can connect that thing that's for free to something that you want to sell, then seriously, you're cooking on gas. So that is your 3rd technique. Regularly give something of value for free that will make people want to commit to following your content. I also want to say here, if creating something free means you need to create a second arm to your business, then so be it. A solopreneur never wants to put all their eggs in one basket. And if you want to do what you love, you need to create a support system that gives you the freedom to do this. And multiple income streams is the key to this. So can you see what's possible for your business? Can you imagine that feeling of not worrying about what I'm going to post and instead being able to show up and serve your audience with content that is valuable, that allows them to begin to know, love and trust you and helps them and cast you as an authority on the things they value that you can help with? So let's just wrap up this very tiny teach. Oh, there is so much else I would love for you to know. But when you seek your clients' pain points and you provide them with solutions, you establish yourself as an authority. And this is really important, guys. Don't shy away from that. People need that, and you need to step into where you are an authority on something and have confidence around that, especially if you're serious. And if you're sitting here, I know you are serious about creating a business that serves you. And if you're serious about that, you do definitely need to get comfortable with establishing yourself as an authority. It's key. And then you use the cycle to sell, and you use that model to create your content, and you growth hack as you do it. And there you go. You're growing your audience, you're selling, and you're creating a brand that people know, love, and trust. Now, there is so much more I can teach you, which is why I've put everything you need to know, as you know, in step-by-step video tutorials called Instagram School. Now, do you want to learn how to implement all of my exact strategies? I'm talking everything from how the algorithm works and what it means for you, teaching you how to come up with your content and how to capture it, how to create more traffic, growth hack, do your analytics and make sure that your content that you're putting all this effort into is actually reaching more people. And how I've created a passive income stream so I make money in my sleep, and how you can too. And how to pinpoint exactly what value you offer, which matches your ideal customer's pains and connects with your service or product. And then how to come up with a cohesive feed that attracts people and hooks them in so that they will linger long enough to learn about you and want to follow you. Now, you know that I've created Instagram School. I have been telling my audience this, and I know most of you are here from my Instagram audience, and welcome to anybody who is just discovering me for the first time. I've been creating Instagram School for 9 long months because I want you to be able to implement my exact strategies and have the same amazing results in your business. Because how would you feel if you were attracting way more of your ideal customers and making more sales? And what if you could learn all of that in 3 days? Well, welcome to Instagram School. You have told me that you want to know everything, and you want to know exactly what it will take to succeed on Instagram and ultimately grow a thriving business too. I'm so excited for you because there is a science behind Instagram, and I don't want you to take years trying to figure this out for yourself or throw in the towel and give up and waste all the time that you've already invested on this app. And the great news, obviously, is you don't need to take 3 years like I did. You can quickly uncover the mystery around what is holding your account back. And I would have given anything for have somebody to teach me this gold so that I didn't have to listen to hours and hours and hours of YouTube tutorials and webinars, and read tons of articles for a whole year or two, not to mention all the time since where I've been experimenting to see what actually does work. Now, firstly, I just want to point out that I am no different to you. I simply had such a strong desire to never go back to my old job sitting in an office. You can see the picture of me sat in my old office in London on Tottenham Court Road. So what I'm going to teach you is not hard. It's just informed. And if I can understand this, so can you. And it's the exact system that I've used to coach all sorts of entrepreneurs. Tara Lever, an amazing artist and teacher, says, Kia took one look at my feed and gave me the instant feedback on what I could do to make it more effective. She whipped up a couple of examples of what I could be doing, creating a much cleaner, lighter feeling feed that I felt excited to try out. Kia's clarity and experience created a big shift in my use of Instagram by giving me clarity of my own. My newly focused, lightened up feed invited more followers and was easier to put together. That was just super awesome that I got to do that for Tara. And inside Instagram School, I actually take you through the coaching I did with Tara to show you exactly how we changed her feed. Because I think that when you can see visually how something is done, it's so much easier and quicker to understand. And Danny, who's an author, a TEDx speaker, and the founder of the London Relay, he says, "You're blinking amazing. I love what my feed could look like. Really pro." And Raphael, who has done Instagram School, says, "I loved it. I now have a strategic and implementable plan for an effective approach to using Instagram successfully in my business." Instagram School comprises of 5 courses, and the first course is how to create a cohesive feed. Because basically, there are so many different moving parts to cracking Instagram and mastering marketing a business through Instagram that you need to crack several different things, and these things all work together. So the first one you need to crack is this: how to create a cohesive feed. And we cover the truth about the algorithm, behind the scenes of how I coached Tara Lever to create her cohesive feed, how to create a visual language, talk about style rules and creating your image bank so that everything is going to save you time and be so much easier in the future. And then there's a whole host of tutorials throughout this course. All the things that I do to create a cohesive feed, I take you through in a video demo step by step slowly. So we're talking about creating brighter images, talking about your white backgrounds, your filters, and creating things like quotes or little graphics. And I show you why those are important and how to actually do them. There's obviously so much more, but those are the headlining things, like I said. Now, after this course, you are going to be well on your way to creating a feed that showcases your content in the most engaging way, which of course is a tool to bring more followers in and retain them. And after that, you are ready to figure out what to actually post. So in this second course, we're talking about the number 1 tool for growth. I teach you in deep dive into that. We talk about your analytics, trending content research, so you know what is trending in your niche. We talk about tricky niches and how you find out what is trending in those niches too, so that it can give you ideas and inspiration if you've got a bit of a tricky product or service to try to sell and make it exciting on Instagram, because it can be done. So we take you through how to do that. We also go through the purpose of social media for you, which is super important. What I was talking about earlier, make sure you've got your ducks in a row before you start trying to growth hack and make more sales. Make sure you're on the right path first. And we talk about quickly creating a marketing strategy. And then we translate this strategy into the content that you're going to need to create to execute that strategy. And we finish up with creating content for your next 9 posts. And I give you prompts and examples all the way with that. So now you've got the know-how to craft content that will grab the attention of your viewers by creating your cohesive feed, and that builds your brand, and that helps people love your product, your service, or your idea as much as you do, which will enable you to make more sales and continue to grow your audience. So at this point, you're now ready to learn how to capture your content. So in this module, we're diving into things like photography. And this is really critical, even if you have a photographer that does a lot of your Instagram photography. I wouldn't discount this module, because I also talk you through the kinds of briefings you need to give your photographer so that they can create the correct kind of photography that's going to work on your feed and create that engaging feed. So it's talking about angles, composition, backdrops, and the apps that you will then use for this photography. And then we're going to talk about product photography. Just a little teach. We've got an amazing product photographer. My personal product photographer, Richard Jackson, joins us for a feature on how to do your own product photography. It's a fantastic teach. And even if you don't have an actual product, there may be things in your business. Maybe you want to photograph your business cards really well or something like that. It's not to be missed. And then we talk about videography, IGTV, creating mock-ups in Photoshop, and I give you a content challenge. And then we cannot forget stories. We dive deep on stories. And we're talking about tips, creating stories, talking on camera, your voice, all the things that I have mastered that I cannot wait for you to be able to master too. Because if I can talk on stories, I think it was about a year before I actually did a story where my face was on the camera and I was using my voice, which might seem bonkers to those of you who know me, because I'm constantly on stories and always getting told how good I am at them. So if I can do it, so can you. And I can't wait to teach you how to do that. So at this point, you're now being able to understand how to craft content that's going to be a powerful tool for your business when converting into sales and growing your audience. So you're ready to learn how to make more sales. We're going to be diving deep into how to find your ideal customer and ascertain who they are in the first place. Got a great exercise for you there. And also we're diving deeper into where you can give value. We talk about passive income ideas because, I'm all over that. And I really believe everybody should be making money while they sleep. And it's simple to be able to do that if you just put a bit of effort into figuring out how. We're going to talk about different ways to monetize and those overlooked opportunities I've been talking about. I have the most incredible exercise to take you through that I learned from one of my amazing high-level business coaches, which I am super excited about because that unlocked a lot for me, and I know it can with you too. And we're not going to leave without talking about how to actually sell via posts and stories on the app. We're going to talk about regular introductions and how important they are, and money-making principles, and getting people to take action and buy, how you do that, also how you get your brand out there, and the magic formula. By the end of this course, it will now be so much easier to establish yourself as an authority and create offers that sell. Now you're ready to grow your followers. I've given you the outline for the magic ingredients to growth, but inside the course, we dive way deeper and explain that so much further with actual tangible examples. I talk about engagement. I explain that for you. That is incredibly key. And the algorithm, we explain that again, just in case anybody buys these courses individually, which is possible, but I really don't recommend it because, as you've probably ascertained by now, they all really, really work together. And I also refer to certain exercises in different courses that feed into the different courses. So you really are going to get the most out of Instagram School by experiencing the whole of it. And if you just do one or two courses on their own, there will be gaps. But I've made it so that you can do it that way if you want to, but just be aware there will be little gaps that you'll need to fill on your own. So then back to this, we go into timing, hashtags, super important to, again, clear the mystery around those, ways to create traffic, ways to growth hack, and a bit more on community. So by now, you're creating a cohesive, engaging account, knowing exactly what to post, doing things to convert your content into sales. And now you have learned the last piece of the puzzle, which is to do things with that content that also grow your account. Wouldn't that be an amazing feeling? And Betania, who has just done Instagram School, says Instagram School is a very complete course. It is evident Kia is passionate about the subject and is a great teacher. Thank you, Betania. And Tom, he's just done the first course of Instagram School and said, the first course of Instagram School has opened my eyes to the small changes I can make that will make a big difference to the way people engage with my content. Now, what I am not going to do now is overwhelm you with a series of bonuses you will never have the time to work through, which is pretty typical of webinars. This is all you need. Now, to use this platform to increase sales in your business, you need to treat Instagram as part of your job. That's why I want to fast track you through the understanding of how it works so you can get on and spend your time doing the things that pay off rather than trying this and that and not really seeing any growth in your business. So if you're thinking, okay, I can see what I practically take away, but what do I ultimately take away from Instagram School? I want to make it super clear what Instagram School delivers. Instagram School will teach you how Instagram works, as well as give you high-level business marketing acumen for you to audit your overall business strategy. You will know how to use Instagram as part of a marketing strategy for your individual business by the end of it, which is so important, because there is no do my strategy and you'll get 100 followers this week kind of thing going on here. That doesn't work. Believe me, in order to research this course, I have followed all sorts of these claims and they don't work. Because Instagram cannot be a one-size-fits-all solution, because one size does not fit all when it comes to your business or your ideal customers. And also, before you start trying to grow your account, you need to have ascertained what you want to get out of Instagram. So like I've said, we're also looking at things such as how you can make the most money for the least effort and whether you've overlooked any obvious, easy opportunities in the race to try and do all the things, or have scope to use Instagram to carve out passive revenue, which is what I have done, and it's something I thoroughly recommend you check out too. And I will take you through ascertaining if it's something you can do for your business. Now, if all you got out of this was spotting the overlooked opportunities on how to make more money in your business and answering all of those frustrating questions around why your account isn't growing faster and how to feel good about selling instead of feeling salesy, and answers as to why your content isn't seen, and giving you clarity on what the best strategy is for your Instagram account, I think it would be worth the investment, wouldn't you? And don't worry, it is not going to cost you over $1,000. Because normally in this industry, a program like this would cost well over $1,000, but for a limited time, you can enroll at an early bird price of just $397. Now, in the EU, there will be VAT added on top. Or if you like, I have a payment plan for you. So you could actually get started today for just $87 with 4 further monthly installments. Are you ready to build a business and to create content that converts? You can continue to try and crack the algorithm and try and piece together a strategy that may or may not work. Or you can do Instagram School. Alice, who has just done Instagram School, says Instagram School empowers the individual to take the reins of their own Instagram account in real terms. Instagram School gives you the tools to go forward and make valuable change which will in turn ultimately drive sales. It is a clear, step-by-step platform which will take you on a tremendous journey of learning, and it provides an assignment at the end of each module to make sure you are putting it all into practice instead of just sitting back and listening. It's an online course with a difference. Kira's gone to such effort to put this all together, it's unreal. You'd be mad to miss out on these invaluable tips and tricks. Now, if you are wondering, are refunds available if I'm not happy with the course? Yes, you can try Instagram School for a full 30 days, 100% risk-free. So, there you have it. Check the link in the chat if you are watching live, and if you're watching the replay, just open up a new tab and type in learnwithkia.com and go and explore Instagram School for yourself. Now, if you need any help at all, if you're sitting there and you're just not quite sure about one or two things, feel free, if this is the live episode that you're watching on Wednesday, the 31st of July, to put it into the chat box and I'll go and do a Q&A with you right now, and I will wait until I've answered all the questions. But if you're watching the replay and you have any questions about Instagram School, please just drop me an email at hello sticksandink.com. Thank you for joining me today and have a fantastic rest of your day.